So I'm joined today by Steve James, the CEO at Valda Energy. Lovely to be with you today, Steve. Thank you for joining us.
No, my pleasure, and good morning to you.
So, Steve, we've worked together probably for the last 12 months on and off now, haven't we? So I wondered whether you could share your thoughts on what reservations or perhaps preconceptions you might have had before we started working with one another.
Yeah, I think right at the very start, if you take it back, I was aware of what you guys do, and you in particular, Holly, because you keep in contact, and I see online you've got a very strong presence online, and that gives you confidence of knowing that you are going to bring an understanding of the market. And
Thank
when
you.
we're looking at we're going with someone for assistance, what I'm really looking for is someone who's going to come with a great understanding of the market and a really strong Rolodex, or a strong black book, if you like.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that you put a lot of time and effort into nurturing the your reputation, your presence online, and also ensuring that you are keeping in contact. And I've always felt that when we were chatting before we were sort of engaging on work, that you had a very strong sense of what businesses were doing, well, or what they were doing, what the market was doing. And it felt that I wasn't being sort of prepped for information, if you like. It was just a natural conversation, and it was like talking with an industry professional that had an understanding that I could actually relate to as well. So
Thank
that
you.
was, well, that's sort of that's a key part to why we then feel confident about placing the business, because obviously every business, well, maybe it's just us, but we're normally too late by the time we appoint you. I've sort of, I want the appointment the next day. So you want that sort of, you don't want a particularly long time where you sort of have to build up a relationship and trying to get, you to understand our way of working. You want that to be established so you can hit the ground running. And I think you did a lot of that prep work and gave me a lot of confidence that that would be the case beforehand. So when we did appoint, it was the key considerations for us are going to be really our culture. Are you going to know what we do and be able to drop someone in that will hit the ground running? And are you also going to protect the confidentiality and the reputation? And all of that was already sort of ticked and understood from the previous conversations, just from your groundwork beforehand. And so it makes the decision a lot easier, and it makes that decision about when I'm talking with Zoe, who's my head of HR, what should we do? Who should we go to? Douglas Jackson, yourself, is straight at the top of the list for a solution.
Thank you, Steve. So I think you've probably covered quite a lot of that. So around the benefits of working together was going to be my next question. So I suppose benefits wise, that clear awareness of the business culture stage of growth as well, because I think that's important. But are there any additional benefits that you found in working together on the stuff that we've done so far?
I think the key is that you always feel like your business is unique. Your culture is going to be different to everyone else. Your requirements are probably slightly, it could be slightly different. And that may be the case or it may not be the case. But at no time did you ever make us feel like, no, that's not the case. Don't worry. You just, through understanding the questions, the to and fro with how you work always gave us the impression that you sort of understood and appreciated what we were trying to say or what we were trying to do. Our size of business and where we are, having only been around for 5 years, we are in a rapid growth situation. And I do talk a lot about our culture and how strong and how important it is for Valda. And you have done very well with appreciating that and recognizing that and knowing that, okay, I guess, Steve's going on about culture. That's a key thing. It means that we've got to find someone who not only could slot in now, but also will be able to grow and be on the trajectory, because one of the hardest things that we're going to have as a business is to retain our culture as we get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And when you try and bring in new people, that's the challenge and the risk. But working with you, that I think what has come across is your ability to take what is on a piece of paper, or sorry, that's old school, what's online as a CV, and what you can see on LinkedIn, and convince us or be able to segment those candidates and be able to translate what is on that piece of paper into what actually is the physical body and what the person's going to be like. And that is the skill and the ability that just cuts out so much time. And I think the other key thing is I appreciated was our way of working that I haven't done before, which was your recommendation was to go, right, let's have a list, go do the work, we'll have a short list, but then why don't you just have a quick, Teams call, have just an introductory. And I found that incredibly helpful because one, it enabled me obviously to see the candidates and just to get that off the, I'm going to use the phrase again, get it out of the paper, off the paper, what they're actually like. It showed me immediately that you and your recommendations were aligned with actually what we've been saying. But it very quickly enables you to hone and slightly tweak and adapt what you think you wanted to what actually you then end up with.
And I think
then
it helps when
the
you're
review
unsure.
process.
Sorry. It helps when you're unsure, doesn't it? And I think as well, the whole point in using someone like me to help you to find people is to save you time. So
Exactly.
if we can do that through those short bursts, then it makes a massive difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and it is that time, as I mentioned, in that first answer, knowing that you've got a preset understanding and we don't have to sort of go through that, it cuts down that time very quickly. And, we've landed the results. The proof is in the pudding with the people that we've taken on. They slotted straight in. There are, just the results and the way that everyone from our SLT, our exec, new people that we've taken on through you, we're talking with our investors only yesterday, and absolutely, I can sit back and go, I've got no worries at all. They're able to handle the conversation, and that's exactly what we needed.
Fantastic. So would you recommend us to other companies?
I would recommend you. Yeah, I would recommend your way of working. I would definitely recommend your insights and how you have the ability to understand what we're trying to do and deliver. It's always a funny one, isn't it? They're sort of going, yes, I'd recommend what we see as quite a useful thing to us, to our competitors or anyone else, but it's going to happen. But yeah, I think that it has definitely cut the time down. As I say, we filled the roles very successfully, in my opinion. And I think that the feedback that I've got from Zoe and as well is that, yeah, we would have no qualms in using you again. And that's the best testimony.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate that, Steve. I think it's been an evolution of a relationship, hasn't it? From sharing insights, we've shared reports and things like that with you as well. I think you're right, it does help to build that sort of confidence and credibility. Is there anything else that you want to add? We've covered quite a lot though, haven't we?
Yeah, no, covered quite a bit. As I say, I just, I really appreciated just the touching base, even though we didn't have roles at the time. I think that's something that I would always ask to continue. And I think that the way that you have that online presence, I sort of fully endorse that, and I look forward to seeing what you guys continue to do. On sort of how you face the challenges in the market and how you continue to evolve and work with us. So yeah, no, I'm fully happy to be on this today, doing a testimonial, and saying thank you as well for the hard work.
And thank you for the opportunity as well, Steve. It's been a pleasure to work with you.
Good. Excellent.